Walt Disney's Flowers and Trees won the very first Oscar for Best Animated Short back in 1932. Movie making has no shortage of visionaries, and this morning Jonathan Vigliotti introduces us to a filmmaker truly on the cutting edge.
It took the power of 150,000 computers and hundreds of artists to digitally animate scenes like this from Pixar's Elemental.
Good morning!
But mostly just two hands, glue and scissors.
Mommy, why won't Abuelo play with me?
To bring the online hit film Gruff to life.
When somebody asks you, what do you do for a living? What's your response?
Don't you have a more interesting question? No, I'm kidding.
I do, I promise. I've got more.
Julian Curi is a master of a new kind of cinematic storytelling you've likely never seen before.
Who did all of the work?
I did.
He calls it paper puppeteering. Each character in Gruff is made using paper, first drawn on, painted, then cut out and glued together. It's a creative process he developed 3 years ago when first sketching his characters.
I ended up actually just cutting those out and starting to bend and manipulate them and seeing that they reacted really beautifully to the light. So I kind of stumbled into it being a puppet film because of that.
This puppet film took shape in a movie studio very close to Curi's Los Angeles home.
So this is the tiny single-car garage that all of Gruff was filmed out of.
Everything here is made out of paper.
Oh yeah, a lot of Amazon boxes
Oh my God.
used for this.
With the help of lights, a camera, magnets, and rods, Curi's paper was brought to life, not animated, but shot in live action, which was a lot of work.
So this is Hazel, and while she works great from the front, I can't put this character onto a motorcycle.
Yeah, not convincing.
So then it's a whole new skeleton, whole new face, and whole new design. It just looks better.
He uses almost no digital effects, mostly just removing the puppet's strings in editing. But the world he creates is full of details that make it convincing, like cutting out hundreds of leaves that go into a single photo on a wall.
This was for you a labor of...
Love, 100%.
Gruff tells the story of a secret agent named Hazel.
Her favorite sound was applause.
Who goes to great lengths to impress her emotionally distant father.
And the one she needed it from the most was her papa.
For Curi, it's art imitating part of his life.
Gruff was a short film that I wrote shortly after my father's passing. That was my way of kind of processing my relationship to my dad.
I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, but I also see a photo behind you. Is that of your father?
That's my dad, yeah.
He looks exactly like the character in Gruff.
Much like Abuelo, Hazel's father, Curi said his own dad, who died from cancer in 2018, was a gruff man of few words.
The strong, silent type, loves Western movies, just the kind of person who never says the thing that you kind of want them to say in any given moment.
As the short film unfolds, father and child grow apart. Calls go unanswered.
It caught up to them.
Until a medical emergency brings them together. Capturing the emotion of this chemotherapy scene with just paper was the hardest part of production, Curi says.
Especially coming from an inanimate object, that was really, really tricky.
I can tell you at work, the emotion came through. There was a point when I was watching your film, I was in bed, and I immediately wanted to call my father. And it was too late, so I didn't. But and I regret it. I need to call him today.
The next morning, got to do it.
But I mean, all of that triggered by paper.
Then I did my job.
And the film has resonated, garnering 3 million views and thousands of comments in the first week of its release on YouTube this month. Unlike the film, though, Curi did not reconcile his differences with his father, but with paper, he created his Hollywood ending.
This film was my way of kind of writing a narrative that I didn't experience, which was spending more time with my dad as he was passing away, reconciling differences that we had. Everyone has a story, everyone has hurt, everyone has joy, and sometimes you just have to be next to them to understand that.
Some people don't say the things we want. And some people don't say much at all. But when you run from the quiet, you might miss what they've been saying all along.